few lectures, he will implement the friend controller design pattern. And to do that, he will work on a tiny little use case of displaying the student details. That is, when the end client clicks on a link on a page that we display him, that request will come in. We'll create a friend controller servlet that will handle that request. And to handle that request, the friend controller will take the help of the command helper, which will create an appropriate command to serve that request. And the command will return the next view that the user should see. The friend controller will take that view, pass it on to the dispatcher that we are going to create, and the dispatcher will dispatch that request to the next view. So let's implement the friend controller pattern by going to STS, File menu, New, Dynamic Web Project. Give it a name, call it Friend Controller. Finish. Expand it. The first piece is to display a view to the user wherein he can click a link. Go to Web Content, right click, create a new JSP page. Call it index.jsp. Finish. Double click to maximize it. Change the title to Home Page. And within the body, add a ahref. Ahref is equal to, within double quotes, view student details dot do. This dot do is a commonly used URL format. You can use .so or whatever you want, but .do is a commonly used format, and we will map this star.do to our friend controller servlet, which we will create in a second. View student details is the text. Close the ahref, save it, double click to minimize. To create a friend controller, it is a servlet class. So go to Java resources, right click on source, new, select servlet. Package is com.bharat.patterns.friend-controller, and the class name is also friend, camel case, friend controller. Finish. Double click to maximize it. We can implement the doGet and doPost, or you can implement the service method. Since the user is going to click on a hyperlink, we can implement the doGet method. So get rid of the doPost. We don't need that. Get rid of the constructors. And the web servlet annotation is where we can map this friend controller to a URL pattern. We will use star.do. That means any request that comes with a .do extension will be sent to this servlet by the container. That is the mapping. Get rid of the comments. Delete this to do as well. And start implementing the doGet method. This is where our friend controller logic will reside. The first step is to get the request URI. Use the HTTP request dot get request URI. That will give us access to the URL that comes in, or the URI, just this piece of information. Whatever you are sending in here, we can access that. Hit Control 1, assign statement to a new local variable. Call it request URI. That's fine. The next step is to create a command helper and pass this request URI to the command helper. We don't have a command helper yet, so act as if we have one. Command helper. Create an instance of new command helper. Hit Control 1. Let Eclipse do some work. Create class command helper. It will go into the same package. Hit finish. Come back. Hit Control 1. Assign statement to a new local variable. Call it command helper. Next, in the command helper, we want a method that will return a command back. So helper dot get command. Pass in the URI that comes in the request. So given the URI, the command helper should return an appropriate command back. Call it command helper, not helper. Command helper dot get command. Hit Control 1. Create a method called get command inside the command helper. We'll start implementing this method and get a command back in the next lecture.